good.
Last time.
All right, this is, we don't need to. Okay.
We'll do the roll call.
Call meeting to order, we have roll call.
Nelson,
Yes.
Porter,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Smith. Here. Sullivan,
Here.
Walden.
Here.
We need a motion to approve the minutes from the committee of the whole meeting on June 18th.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Okay. Okay, public comments.
Can you roll call on it?
Oh, pardon.
Nelson,
Yes.
Porter,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Walden.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, public comments. Do we have?
Margaret, do you got anything?
I'm just here, my issue's not gonna be addressed, just make sure it stays unaddressed.
Okay.
Make sure what, pardon me?
He said make sure his issue's not addressed.
Not addressed. And not in stays. Okay, alrighty, nothing else? Alright, then we'll have our report from our engineer Ron with Shastine Associates.
Okay, so, the water main project is continuing, and on the, we'll be asking at the, council meeting, for the contractor requested a time extension, to go through October of 2024. So that's about a 3-month extension that would allow for the grading and seeding to happen. And we also made a change in the alignment on St. John Street, I think it is, which requires a permit modification. So that's about a 3-month extension. There's no change in cost for that. We are also including some quantity changes, and for the water main, it's 2 water main connections at a valve, which they were previously planned to do with a tapping valve and sleeves. So there will be ultimately, if everything works out the way we think, there will be an offsetting reduction in cost later on. And then there was also an extra bend that was installed to adjust the elevation and to avoid a conflict with an existing utility. And then the last one is $414 for, that's for the allowance where they're making repairs inside the home, piping or repairs. We had an or the base bid only takes it to within 18 inches inside the home, I believe, so. And that allowance has been actually used up, so. That's the water main change order. There is also a sewer change order. Similarly, we're asking for a time extension. This one would go until June of next year, and that would allow the avoiding of doing pavement repairs, pavement patching late in the fall, which happened on the last project, I think. And there's also a delay at the very beginning of the project, dealing with the utility company for there was a communication wire that needed to be dealt with, so that is actually a 242-day extension. And then there is some quantity adjustments that go along with that as well. trench backfill, which is where if you're adjacent to pavement, trench backfill needs to be put in. It's like a sand backfill or a rock backfill that won't settle, and that's the largest part of it. There's a couple culverts and an adjustment in the 12-inch sewer in the depth of it in one location or more. And that, so the total add of that change order would be $81,917. So the total contingency on the project is a little over $206,000, and with this change order, we will have used up around $90,000 of that. Is there any questions there? And then the last couple things is there's a pay request for the sewer project. Monthly contractor pay request. That will be $60,816.60. That's 60816.16. Then the water main loan. There will be this is Petersburg. All of these are Petersburg funds. The water main portion is $87,481.31. That's 87481.31. And then the services portion, lead service line replacement portion, is $45,814.05. That's 45814.05. Any questions on any of those projects or any of those items?
Hey Ron, remind me again, I know we talked about it in the council meeting, on the, where are we at with the rebid for the water treatment plant?
Oh yeah, I should have brought that up. We are in the process of adding the Build America, Buy America requirements to the documents. We've got suppliers helping to identify if there's anything that we need to change or can change that will make it more amenable to those requirements. And then the sub-consultant we're working with for the mechanical and HVAC and electrical is also looking at the specs. I know one big thing came up was the generator. Neither of the generators that we had spec'd will meet the BABA requirement. So we're gonna try to see if there's one available at all. If there isn't, we'll have to apply for some kind of waiver for that, or try to get by on some kind of there is a de minimis waiver that they call
Even
it.
if he bought it from like an American business, I mean, it still
It
this doesn't count.
It needs to be manufactured in the United States with, I think it's at least 55% or it's over 50% U.S. made materials. So there must be components in there that are not U.S. made. I guess I don't know how they. So anyway, the plan is to get that advertised for bid, as soon as we can. I'd like to see us get bids before your September meeting, so you could approve it at your September meeting, otherwise we'd probably ask for a, special meeting, maybe like we did tonight.
I got a question for you. I know we had the bids and everything ready, but we changed to redo this so we could get the higher percentage.
Yes.
What happens if we get all of the information back and everything and it comes out that we're, the higher percentage still ends up costing us more than what the other one would?
Right,
Is
well,
it too
Too late now.
Too
It's
late.
too late now.
Too late.
Once-
now,
That's what I was
yeah.
wondering.
Yeah.
So once we pass the other one,
Right.
Right.
we're
It was,
stuck.
it was $1.2 million
Yeah, it,
though,
it
and
may
so,
close the gap quite a bit more than we were hoping, but that's not really feasible that it'll be more expensive.
So
Not with
even
80% forgiveness, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know with the generator, because some of that stuff,
Yeah,
one or two items can break a whole budget pretty quick.
right.
I just wondered, so we're locked into that one no matter
Yes.
what? Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that right. Cool.
Is that all on there?
The jack now.
Okay. Jack, it's your
Uh,
turn.
Well, you wanna go to engineer subdivision?
I mean, do I need to go over it all again? It's all
You don't
the
have to.
No.
I do have one question. Does EPA, since that used to be zoned agriculture and stuff, do they do soil samples to make sure of, like, since it's been sprayed for years and years, or
No,
do they not even, they don't pay attention to it?
no. I mean, not that. Yeah, I mean, I'd say if there's something else going there, other than what you're just residential, maybe. But the EPA wouldn't. But like IDNR or something like that might look into it. But if it was an IDOT jurisdictional route, they absolutely would do. It's called a PISA. They require sampling and things like that, but this is not IDOT road, so.
okay, couple things. The consumer confidence report went out, without much of a hitch. We did send it off to Illinois Rural Water to be hosted and reviewed. One of their employees, Mary Reed, did find something that was negligent on our consumer confidence report. It was a small sentence that had to be included that was overlooked. So, big thanks to them. Saved us a little bit of a headache. So, all right, I'll go through this in descending order of price. The pumps at the lift station, the 50 horsepower pump at the Leafland lift station, it's still operational. It is the seals and the bearings on the actual pump. They are getting worse. They're allowing more product to come through, but the final where we've left this at with Van Deventer is the pumps are not able to be fixed or replaced in kind. They rep flight pumps, which is kind of the industry standard. They're kind of top of the line. To put back another 50 horsepower pump, same size flight pump, be $65,000 to $80,000. The other work on that is, in theory, once sewer phase 2 is over, we should have some diversion of stormwater from the existing lift station, and maybe a 50 horsepower pump will no longer be necessary. Might be our only real saving grace. But as it stands now, to replace that pump, they rough underlined twice in their emails, $65,000 to $80,000 for replacement.
And sooner rather than later.
Well, it is, like I said, it is,
Yeah, letting more product through, like you said.
we grease them, and we've got VFDs, so the motors aren't getting quite as slammed, and we replaced the bearing in the motor on that pump. You know, we're doing all we can on the maintenance side. It's just they're, you know, almost 40 years old at this point.
That's what I was gonna ask. They're probably as old as the building.
No, it was like, I think this one was like 1986 when it was installed. So, you know, kind of, I told them, you know, we're obviously not committing to anything like that just yet. Ideally, we see some heavy reductions in rainwater flow to the pump station, and we can opt into a smaller pump and still avoid overflows. That's pretty well where I've left it. Is that the best route? I don't know, because it's the only large scale pump that we have that will prevent overflows in a rain event. And we do have some requirement on our side to prevent those. So you guys can chew on that. Well 11, I brought this up at the last meeting. It will need to be pulled and acidized here this summer or fall. I've got 2 bids come in. I think I gave you guys a rough price. From when the well 11 was cleaned 2 years ago, it was $11,500. I've gotten 2 bids back, and they are north of that. There's a third company I plan on reaching out to. I don't know if some of you remember from a couple years ago. We got a couple bids in from 2, you know, well-established well cleaning companies, and then once we read their bids out here at the meeting, a third company said, "Well, we can actually
Do it
put a
cheaper.
bid and we can do it cheaper."
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
I'm not gonna tell you any of the numbers yet, but we'll get that third bid in, and then I'd expect next meeting we'll take a vote on something.
Okay.
Rain gauge and flow meter from Caterpillar, like we discussed last meeting, the ones that Ron Tapscott had donated. They both since failed. I got a new quote from ISCO, ISCO. They're kind of the, I don't know, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't really know of any other companies that have these kind of metering software. I'm sure they probably do, but this is one we typically go with, and their quote of $5,500 when we were going to replace them. Ron got those donated, so we decided not to go for that. The same flow meter and rain gauge is $9,800 to replace. So now I do believe that the rain gauge and the flow meter will be those things will likely still be required after our sewer separation. I would guess it'd probably be for years. We're going to still have to monitor that. So I can. I just got this back on Monday too, so I can either continue to reach out and see if we can find something more.
There are a couple others I can get you if you want.
There you go. I'll get you guys some more numbers, but that's from 2021 to 2024. It's gone from 5,500 to 9,800. So the one that is I don't think that's anything that really needs to be voted on. I just wanted you guys to be aware of, you know, the prices we're talking, and that is something that's gonna need to be done here. Hopefully we can find something a little cheaper. But one thing that does need to be done here pretty well immediately, I'd like to get your guys' approval. There's a chlorinator in the chlorine room that is broken. I mean, it is cracked on the side, and it's back. We had a small gas leak that was contained. It was very minimal, but that chlorine gas doesn't do well with brass and stuff that's in there. It oxidizes a lot of metals in that room, so that chlorinator really took the brunt of it, and it's in rough shape. But so the existing chlorinator, the 2 chlorinators that we have are Superior. They're called, that's the name brand is Superior. They are like titanium bolts and some kind of plastic housing, but they are $2,800 for the one chlorinator. I'd like to get approved for $3,500 to also buy a rebuild kit for the other chlorinator. It's roughly $500.
Yeah. Go ahead and add that to the agenda.
And then the last thing I got was the fence at the lift station, at the existing Leafland lift station where we put the new pump station in and vault, and you know we had to do some bypass pumping, so there's quite a bit of fencing that was cut out. As it is planned now, we're just fencing in a section of that lot. If you drive over there, you can see it's all rocked, and they have Petersburg storing material on it now. The fence is basically going to be pushed back to the beans on the north side. We've been kicking around the idea of fencing the whole area in for added storage and you know whatever else we need for it. We are getting numbers from Petersburg, but I don't know if you guys have a preference one way or the other. Fencing in half of it, fencing in the whole thing.
Been doing the whole thing.
Okay.
Kind of similar to the streets.
Yeah, it would be. Now, one thing we would probably get is an electric gate, pulling off of 51 there instead of parking our trucks
Yeah.
on 51, opening the man gate or opening the manual gate and then driving in. So that'd be an added expense, and there would need to be another manual gate in front of the existing building for future maintenance to get equipment in there. And that's all through the sewer project, so this will be brought up as a change order or something at a later date. But if anybody's got any kind of preference one way or the other,
What were
that's
you
something.
wanting?
I have 6 in one, half dozen in the other. All I really cared about was having a parking area off of 51, which we'll achieve either way.
Leafland?
Yeah, or off Leafland, yeah.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Safety purposes.
Yeah.
Um, So, the real benefit of fencing it all in would be secure storage if we ever needed it. Maybe in the future you put a little building over there or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, otherwise, we will be going to flush hydrants here in the fall, beginning of the fall, late summer, early fall. So be on the lookout for that. Dana, you got anything?
Tanya, you got anything you want to add to water?
Tanya?
Thank you. How's CTI? I mean,
You guys doing well? They've actually, they've been telling everybody they can't hook services up because the sewer project. Well, as really they were waiting to do this. They're trying to get a permit from the railroad,
yeah.
and they ended up getting that, and they did that bore. So I don't know if you've seen. There's like 10 CTI trucks in town.
I have.
They're all
Made me
pulling-
happy.
They're pulling wire and doing services and stuff. So the whole town should be live. So
Good. Dish came and told me that D-Clerks has to cut their trees down in order for them to fix my issue. I said, well, that's not going to happen.
they're gonna,
I'll just wait.
yeah, they should be coming along here any day. I know they're trying to get out of town and go somewhere else.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Okay, then Darren?
Yep. Once again, I don't have near as much as
Later.
Scott. But the concrete's done. I actually just signed the invoices off there. It looks good downtown there. We'll probably keep coming north next year. Plans, just keep replacing downtown there. Oil and chip, we're on the list. We'll get it done probably, it'll be before school starts. So that's the 16th, I think, maybe of August. That's about it, really. I mean,
Yeah.
we treated mosquitoes. Dana did the catch basins and stuff, so we sprayed, try to catch it the right evening again, spray again.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be out now that it rains. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I've only seen one donut at the lift station. Only
Yeah.
one.
That's good.
Good.
So yeah, that's all I got. You guys got anything?
No. Brooklyn's still doing good, and we'll have her for about another month.
Yeah, she said she would work right up to the day she
Did
gets to
she?
school. So
Okay. Well, that's good. I wonder if I guess we could ask her if she's ever interested in helping. If there's a day that she doesn't have school.
we'll find out.
I mean, if you, snow day.
Well, don't you, with the leaves too, won't you help?
She'd be in school.
She'll be in
though.
school on those days. I mean, unless it's like Columbus Day or something. Well, we have Columbus
Yeah.
Day off, yeah.
Yeah.
So her days will match with ours, unless it's
True.
like a snow day, really. Okay. No, thank you very much.
Dina, the park?
The only thing I have for park is I'm supposed to be meeting up sometime with two companies for security cameras for the session in the park. Altman and Wareham are supposed to be getting a hold of me. And they've tried a couple times to get over here and then something happens and they have to cancel. So,
What was the first one? Alt?
let me pull it up. So I'm,
Oh, I'm familiar with Wareham.
yeah, Altman Monitoring. It's out of Taylorville. And so is Wareham.
I thought you guys had someone else too, though.
Yeah, I had that, I don't have it with me now, but we had a quote from a guy out of Decatur that Brian had got. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got something for Wade, he had to leave.
Oh, okay,
This
yeah,
is-
believe, okay, just fine.
Okay.
That's good. Sorry, go ahead and talk. Dana?
That's all.
Summer rec ends this month, 26th
I think so.
is, it's been a good turnout from what Alyssa's been telling me.
Good.
No more instances in the bathrooms.
No. I changed the time on the locks.
Yeah, I know,
so-
that's what she said.
Helps.
Yeah.
We're still just, on the new swing frame, we still in the same position that we have been.
Yeah, I mean, we've got it, we just don't have it put up yet. The people that are gonna help me, it's just them finding time to be able
Okay.
to take off to be able to do it.
Okay, well, subdivision items, I think Mark
I think Mark covered that.
Mark covered it. And then police, Brian had to leave, so.
But, hang on, Tanya's
He
got-
wants
Tanya,
this,
you
he
got-
has a quote here for a laptop for the squad car. Okay, when they need it.
Oh, is that his,
$4,002 from CVS.
what is this? What's with the
That's just.
That's for the new,
Durango.
that's for the
Durango?
equipment.
That's what we did in the special meeting.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get that on the agenda for it.
This
Yeah,
one?
'cause they have to
It's like
leave.
4,000 for a computer. He has to have it.
Yeah, they make them so big. They make them good, but they're expensive. I have nothing else on police. Other than, like I told you guys, I did have this conversation with, with PJ in executive session. We all did, I guess. He is going to enforce these ordinances. We are having some more issues, so he's going to be enforcing for that, so see how it goes.
Somebody else if he was gonna be on the CAD team.
I don't know. That's right. That's what I got for the police stuff.
okay, did Tanya have anything?
Tanya, do you have anything on your stuff? You're in?
Did she not?
She does not.
I, just working on processing bills through, gonna be working on getting shut off notices out, just normal stuff going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Before we get to finance, though, I did have a question.
Mhm.
I just glanced at our ordinance book. Do we have even back when, Waste Management took over, that's when we started with disposable totes, was Waste Management.
Disposable totes.
You mean
Oh.
recycling?
No, I'm talking about garbage. They were our first ones with totes put in the front of the
Oh,
house.
yes, that is,
Right.
yes, that is correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
everybody
then
has to
now
have
we
their
have
own.
laws. Do we have an ordinance or a policy, cause I can't find one, but of course my book is dated 1996. That says where that tote, that you have to pull it back.
I swore that there was something in there.
I thought so too, but there's nothing in mine, so I didn't know, Janet, if you could look, cause I haven't kept totally updated, putting, or even if we had one, like once because we wouldn't have had to have one before because you had a metal can in the alley. I don't know if that was metal or what, but you had a metal can in the alley, so it didn't obstruct the front of your house.
Mhm.
So, do we have an ordinance or do we need to create one that you need to get your tote back up to your house or out, not leave it out week to week?
I don't know.
I can remember.
I don't know if it was an ordinance, but I remember whenever it switched over, this was before I was
We
with the
did, I
city.
mean, I remember,
That it
because
was
We
we
put it in
stated-
writing.
that it was stated it was only out on the
Yeah,
curb
pickup.
on day of pickup.
You're
That's what
right,
I
I
thought
do
too.
And then
remember
you
that,
had
so
to
maybe
take it
it's
back.
just the,
But I
something
don't
the mayor
remember,
said.
I mean, cause I wasn't working for the city at the time, that's just what I
No,
remember.
but
That's
do
what I
remember
thought too, we
Cal
just
saying
discussed
something like
it.
that.
And we don't enforce it.
So, we do have some people in the community that are elderly and can't move it.
See, that is true, there's some that don't, I mean, like, my two neighbors leaves theirs there.
And we leave ours.
I moved mine in my garage, yeah,
Well,
but I
there's
also
some people
see.
that actually put them in the room.
Yes.
I know,
Yes, that's what
I
I'm
know.
getting at.
Yeah.
Yes, it's,
You know, and you have some people that put them out and if they're gone for a day or two, I mean.
yeah, they stay out, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if garbage is Friday morning, but you have to be gone for the weekend, put your garbage out and get it back Sunday, it's gonna be awful hard to find somebody. You're gonna have to do, it's almost gonna have to be case by case, and then if they have
Yeah.
a legit excuse, then who decides what's legit, what's
Right.
not?
Yeah,
We are, we have anything in writing.
we may not, I mean, but I do remember it being talked about. Maybe, and we can go ahead and put something in for it.
I don't think there is an ordinance right now that states that you have to
There may
have.
not, maybe we
Because I
talked
will-
about
I
it.
can't, well, I couldn't find it in the book, but mine's,
Yeah,
a lot of loose leaf papers and I didn't look through them inside and I
maybe it's in the
haven't-
garbage contract, it seems like I read something.
I looked under the,
Maybe, yeah, we'll look at the garbage contract.
Wallace?
Maybe, yeah, like it's something like with this,
I
maybe
think
something that
his
the
is just
city
gonna,
enforces.
For subdivision, it's in theirs. Maybe that's what you're thinking too, for subdivision.
Yeah, I'll
miss-
do some looking.
Just gonna drive around this Thursday and Friday and check this and write tickets.
She was asking if there's an ordinance on it.
Our ordinance cop.
Yeah, our code enforcer.
Our ordinance
Okay.
enforcer.
Well, just some people that we really need, and I've lectured them too, and they still don't do. It's a vendetta between two neighbors, in my opinion.
yeah,
Right.
That's what it is.
yeah, it is.
And it's just,
Contact
come on, grow up, people.
Right.
Yeah, mine's out is because I'm late. I didn't come home that Friday night.
Okay, then we'll have, finance then, Angel? You don't have anything either?
Well, it's not fine. The only thing, just to be more police, the only thing I had is that you wanted to add something to the police handbook in regards to comp time. Now I'll tell you, I took this out from the Senate, from our personal policy, because we get comp time, but we don't get out of hour. But it says, commissary time shall be granted to the police chief and police officers for extra time worked beyond the normal work schedule. Compulsory time must be used within 1 year of issuance. No salary payment shall be made in lieu of authorized compulsory time, not to be used by the employee. Then I did add this part, comp time may be given out by the mayor with written documentation to the board as per cause, and that's like what I said, like, if we have to send PJ to get outfitted and he's not yet sworn in, then we can say, hey, if he's gone for 3 hours, we can give him 3 hours of comp time. But I write a I'll send the documentation to, of course, Angel and Janet, showing that that's the reason why I would have done something like that. But I figured that's something maybe to put into the handbook.
So this would apply only to salaried employees?
Salaried employees, yes. That's why I just put in police officers.
So another thing I think
Should be public.
should be on their timesheet, they should write that they had like 5 hours comp time or whatever, so we can keep track, and then when they use it, they need to let us know.
Yes.
So I can keep track of it, because that's not the way it's
Mm-hmm.
always, it does not go that way.
Zero.
So,
Well,
I feel like that we need to keep track of it
Well,
inside here too.
what I'm getting, yeah, we do. Do you think maybe between you and Brian, you can create a new timesheet just for them?
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
I mean,
I think you should take the word police out and just put in salary.
salaried employees?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because ultimately what ends up happening is we may switch another position to salaried at some point for some reason. And then you're gonna have to go back and all.
Well, no, you're right,
change
you're right, okay.
Just do it now and be done with it.
Commissary time shall be granted to the salaried employees for extra time worked beyond the normal work schedule. Commissary time must be used within 1 year of issuance. No salary payment may be made in lieu of authorized commissary time not to be used by the employee.
Is there a reason why it's within a year?
I took that
I
from the
think a
Senate.
year's good.
A year is good, because you don't want them accumulating.
Well, because the only reason I'm
And
asking,
then end up with like 2 months worth of comp time to,
well, it depends, but if you're not gonna pay it out, because I thought we had talked that if they like leave, either you use or you lose them.
Yeah, I didn't plan on
They
paying
weren't
it
gonna
out.
be paid if they quit, so who cares if it racks up over 3 years, we're not gonna pay them if they quit, they just
Well,
lose
then
it.
theoretically, they could be like, well, I'm gonna take 3 years off and still be on payroll for 3 years and just use comp time while they're out.
yeah, I think you
Yeah.
I think you need a limit on it.
I do too, I'm happy with a year. And like I said,
Because they can't carry over, vacation, they
Our
have to
comp
use
time
that in there.
carries-
Like
County comp.
vacation, they have
Yeah.
to use with
Ours
the
runs forever.
No,
Yeah.
There's no
see, I
limits.
have a year to use
sick
comp
time
time.
they can carry over.
So we can keep ours forever.
Yeah. Ours goes by fiscal year. We get ours July 1st and we have till June 1st, June 30th.
And another question I have on the resource officer, he doesn't get comp time because his overtime, he makes up for the summertime he's off, correct? And that's what we said
That's
during
my
the,
understanding.
when we hired him,
Cause he's not salaried, is he?
yes.
Yeah, he is salaried.
He's salaried, but the overtime was supposed to make up for his,
Time from the school, yeah.
when they're off, from days off in the, summertime.
Maybe I
If
should put in
remember
there
correctly, that's why it was,
salaried employees excluding the school resource officer.
Or contract salary, cause technically we're only
Right, he
paying
is,
half of it,
yeah.
so we can't tell the school district how to do the whole thing without altering the contract.
That's true.
So I would say salaried employees excluding contract employees. And that'll take care of that position.
You mean including?
No,
Excluding.
Excluding.
he's not,
I'm thinking, okay, yep, excluding contract employees. Okay. I got you now.
Actually should be excluding salaried contract employees. Cause you can't have hourly contract ones. You gotta put it in there or else.
Salaried contract employees, okay.
we did.
Yeah.
Take it off.
See ya.
And I feel like,
Thank you.
I guess, I mean, you know how many years PJ was here?
He said 7.
7. Do you wanna start him at the 7-year mark on his time? Do you guys have any problems or anything with that?
Oh, you
Instead-
mean like on his,
Like vacation
and-
time, like as if he's already was here, just start him at that point instead of rolling him maybe the first. Are you happy? Anybody object to that? Okay.
So we.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
If you leave and come back,
You still earn that seniority.
the only thing you lose is what you lose it for,
Mm-hmm.
you lose your seniority spot. In other
Okay.
words, you don't
Well, yeah.
rank somebody.
I think he said 7 that night. You may
I
double
thought-
check
I
with him
will.
though.
Yeah, I will. I just was thinking.
Or
Guys,
here and
personnel.
3,
No, well, I was thinking, was it?
I don't think he was actually here 7, was he?
I thought it was 4 years here in Big Brother County with 7 years experience.
Okay, so he's.
I can look.
I was pleased. I was.
We got his personal.
Yeah, we got his personal. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, started wherever he left off. So if it was 4 years,
He hasn't been Shelby 3 years, has he? It's been 3 years already.
Well,
it might have been. I
I've
think.
been
Yeah, I think it was
here-
right when I became mayor.
yeah.
Cause
How long
he
has
was
it been?
still.
So I got. Yeah, I'm in my
Because
4th year.
I'm
Yeah.
with you,
Mhm.
yeah. Almost
I got
4
down
years.
7 years experience.
7
Yeah.
years experience. Okay.
Cause he was still here when I came on.
Yeah.
He was here when I
Okay.
I think he's only been
Same
gone.
time.
I think he's
Yeah.
only gone.
Yeah, I think we
since
all got
2
on
years.
around the same time, didn't we?
about 2 years.
Yeah, Gary took my spot.
Candy
You
came back
took
about the same time we did.
Melody's.
I have no idea.
I think he's only been in Shelby County less than 2
Almost
years.
Yeah, it
4
might
years, I
be.
think.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you.
I have nothing else.
I do.
You already have.
So we may wanna check, apparently a couple other towns that have contracts with Homefield got notified that their auction energy rate went up 45%. Apparently people in Clinton's power bills exploded and none of them had a clue why. Some of them called and they were like, well, the electric rate auction didn't go the way we planned and electric rates went up between 30
But we're in
Is our
contract,
contract was
aren't we?
up?
We're in a contract though, aren't we?
Yeah.
But if you don't change after the contract's up, they can do that, cause that's what happened to me, and that's violent.
But I think our contract, we just,
Well, the
We
contract
did
started
didn't have
it.
a locked-in rate. Didn't the contract was?
Was a locked-in rate
It was
with
locked
home
in.
field. It was a locked-in rate.
I don't think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my phone. There was something that was a locked in. It was a locked in rate, but at a certain
I wasn't
date.
with Homefield, I was with somebody else that did the door-to-door stuff.
Because home field, if I remember correctly,
That got
the
you.
contract
That's about me,
was,
the
it
door-to-door
was,
stuff.
it was locked in subject to whatever it came in at the auction. Because we had to sign the contract before the yearly auction was held.
Yes.
And that's what he came back to that meeting to tell us
Yes.
that the auction didn't go the way they thought it would. And they've had another auction since. I think,
Homefield got bought out.
see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Janet did tell me that because that was some of the problems with people not getting information.
Who bought
Uh,
them out?
Energy something.
Well,
So that's what's gonna be on Amronville now?
I
That
don't
is our
know.
supplier?
I
Is
thought
this-
I
they
need
had-
to. I
they were
honestly
switching
don't.
it
I do
over,
budget
so I
billing,
did
so.
all those
I didn't look at my
letters.
last bill.
See, I thought there was a clause in that thing similar to the
You're with
gas
Ameren
rate that we
unless you
had
chose
with,
to be.
No, I'm home field.
with the garbage company,
Home
that if something jumped, they had the
Yeah,
option to
I'll look at it. Oh,
No,
If
I
nothing else,
thought we were locked in. I
Didn't
thought we were
Ameren
locked
end
in
up
with
coming-
Homefield. I could swear I'd have to go back through my tablet here and see, but
Didn't the Ameren come in
that's
cheaper
what-
than Homefield
yeah. Call
anyway?
Reg, please.
That's why I
and
stayed
see
with
what we
Ameren,
got
because they
going.
were
Thank
cheaper
you.
than Homefield.
well, so here's the other thing, apparently all the people, at least the ones in Clinton that I've known of, all mailed the cards back, and none of them got opted out.
Yeah, you told me that
Same
part,
as
yeah.
happened here, you had to, even if you mailed the cards, they basically just ignored it and
It was
switched
a
you anyway.
computer glitch that all those papers went out, all those cards and papers,
Yep.
cause it was for the buyouts. And all those went out
I
where they
called
wasn't supposed to.
Homefield and
Well, cause
Ameren.
I got the one
took
last
me
fall,
off the
that
list.
you were opt
I
out,
just write a check.
stay with
for
Ameren.
$48. That's it. I
I
could
got
was
a letter saying congratulations, you're getting switched in 15 days, cause I had to call and
Those-
change it.
Yeah.
Repairs.
So, anyway, it might be something to check.
Yeah, I'll have Janet kind of get on that. Janet is kind of calling around about a roof, kind of get us an estimate. Because you all know you got a leak here, it's got a leak in the back. Tanya, you leaking in your office or
I
anything?
got a spot in my office.
I think it has leaked before, but not.
Yeah.
now.
Anything from FEMA?
Yes, we got a check.
We did?
$36,000 just got it, must've been the last couple of days. Either,
I thought we were gonna get like 50 grand.
it's 36,000, what we got from FEMA. We just opened it.
Okay.
Is that that's for the last storm?
The last storm. Talk about a year.
man, I
Yeah,
thought we
we'll
were
talk
gonna
about
get
that,
it
I was
last
gonna bring that up.
night.
So, and that just goes back into the general.
Yeah, I have budgeted just to go into general revenue. Yeah. Maybe we'll get another. I thought we were supposed to get more than
I
that.
thought it was about 48,000.
Yeah,
or
it's close to
something.
50 because they're supposed to include like
I
administrative.
know it was like 36,000 and some
Some
crazy.
Is that from FEMA or?
Amount.
FEMA?
I don't really get an answer to that. Okay.
I wonder
This
why
is from
he
FEMA.
got the rest.
The Public Assistance Program
Signed the
grant
contract
payment
last fall.
expenses,
Is it in the fall?
FEMA,
Yeah.
for
It looks
$36,409.95.
like
November,
I-
December because
Oh, it's
the
from my
auction
yeah.
wasn't
So it's from my
till
EMA, but maybe FEMA's picking up the
February.
rest or something.
to
Maybe.
figure out what the actual
Yeah.
rate
That's
was.
what it says.
Yep, you're right.
FEMA right there.
Can I have a copy of that?
We get emails all the time.
They
Now,
don't stop.
yeah, they don't. He'll send us like 5 a day, and it's just the same thing.
I got
over
down
and
home,
over.
Ameren would be 7.5 and Homefield was 8.3 for 1 year. You could opt out or renew. And, 8.3, it was a little higher than Ameren. Ameren was 7.5, Homefield 8.3, but that was locked in. So like he said, if what happens is if the supplier runs out and they have to try to find it somewhere else, Ameren charge could go up. But with if you stayed with Homefield, it would always be at 8.3. So I've been Homefield for years.
See, I think when he came back, they said it was gonna end up going up even more, that they locked, that the auction.
I
We
read
have
that
a
He
email.
came to
email.
the wrong meeting.
Mine hasn't. So you guys got hit though, but you had
A
some
different
door-to-door guy. And who do you
Yeah.
have?
This was before the city started this,
Yeah.
but I think, cause I think
Doing
it
the
was for
contracts. Mine has
Homefield, wasn't
been
it?
Yes.
that way since 2018 is what Ameren told me.
Hmm.
And then if you don't call and
Right.
call the company back or check on it, then you just keep getting the same
You do.
bill, and
You
I
have to
never
opt
look.
out.
I never look.
See, I end up getting like a $600 some odd bill, like one month, and I said, this is not right. And that's when I called and found out that I was still with, I thought it was home field, but it was like on our own, it was before the city started doing
Yeah.
anything. And they're like, oh yeah, after a certain date, they can charge you whatever they want.
Yep.
If you're not in a contract with them.
See, and the
And
guy
that's
that
what gets
come,
me.
I forget his name.
Reg.
Reg.
Mhm.
He comes every year and
Yeah.
drives for 1,000 miles to get.
He was here this year.
He came
Yeah, he came in
twice.
February or
Came twice,
March.
Remember,
yes.
he came to the wrong, he was in the wrong city.
He came twice,
He thought
yeah.
he came in to talk and we're like, dude, this is like parks.
It's like the
We're
police
like,
meeting, yeah.
Yeah, it's police
Yes.
meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the cities mixed up.
It isn't like we get a different person, a different one every year. He's been the one coming, and I don't know, I guess I kind of built up a trust with him too,
Yeah.
guiding at that point.
Well, I'll have, if you guys could email, send it out to everybody,
Okay.
so we all are on the same page.
Whenever I would call Homefield, they would say, either Tolono or Teotopolis or something. I'm like, no, I
it's-
live in Assumption.
Remember I told you that
You
when I
did.
called them to opt out, they
Yeah.
said that we were in Fulton County,
County,
which
yes.
is on the other side of Jacksonville. That's where they have Assumption, they have us incorrectly.
You wanted to opt out.
Yeah.
Yes, and they kept telling me a
You
different
live in a
city.
different
Yeah.
town.
I'm like, no, I'm Assumption,
Were you talking to a live person or automated?
a person.
Yeah.
That's
I
rare.
couldn't, he had the right zip code, but they had the entire town in the wrong county.
Well, obviously, if they've been bought out, which is news to me, hence all the confusion.
See, that's happened since I called and opted out in like June, I think. It was
Yeah,
right
it was
after we got back from
rough, yeah.
vacation, cause I got the letter and I had literally